Welcome back to the Property Playbook. We're your hosts, Elena Saradidis.
And Reddy-Choquette.
And today we're going to talk about work from home and how that has changed the real estate market.
Big time. I mean, I'm seeing way more within my client base going back to work, back to office. There's very few, in fact, I almost call them my unicorns, that still are working from home.
I would say that that's very accurate. I think a lot of people are getting called back into the office. I think at the start of the pandemic, people were realizing they can work from home or were given the option. So they moved further away from the downtown core. And now we're seeing a shift back to the core.
Yeah.
And it's been happening for a while now, but I see an uptick, especially in summer months, because everyone loves the summer in Toronto.
Yeah. Well,
it's the best time to be here.
I think let's not get into the traffic. That could be an entire second episode. But I also think, that is a reality of our city now. Traffic and commute time and getting around our city is frankly just becoming what it is. I really don't think that all of a sudden we're miraculously going to cross our city in 10 minutes, although I would love that. So I think you've also got, to your point, you've got summer, you've got commute times, you've got no longer, being able to work from home, and you've got this desire to be, as close to the core, as close to kind of where you need to be coming back into the marketplace.
But the shift that I've really seen is the type of properties that people are now searching for. They all still want an at-home office.
Interesting.
Have you noticed that at all?
Yes.
Like they want more space. So I'm not seeing as many people opt for one bedrooms if it's for their own principal use, but I am seeing people go into the 1+ dens because they want an office at home. If they're looking for a house that they need 3 bedrooms, for example, they're opting for a 4-bedroom or a basement that can be used as a at-home office. Like they are looking to find places where they can put offices because most people, what I've noticed, have turned into hybrid.
Yeah.
They're work from home, but they're also coming to work every few days. And I think they've done this so they don't shock people into just coming in directly. I think we're eventually going to flip into everyone come back into work. But for the interim, we're in this little limbo where it's like, you're at home, but you're also at work and you need to come in a certain number of days.
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, I've seen a lot of clients that have said to me, you know what, Erica, I still need that work from home space because, there's a little bit more flexibility within my job. I can do the walk to school, say 1 morning a week. And so I'm going to log in ahead of that, get what I need to get done, then I'm going to have the ability to walk my little ones to school or whatever that looks like, and then head into the office. So I think even to your point, seeing a little bit more flexibility within the workplace, the desire to still have a carved out area to work from home has not shifted. And so what we're not seeing is, to your point, everybody being like, okay, I can come back in and downsize. They're kind of like, I can come back in, but I still need this, and this. And so I think, and I mean, we've talked about the condo segment and you can go back and listen to our episode about the condo market, but I think what you're also seeing is that's where the kind of pressure in that more semi and detached segment is, because people are still needing the space. They're not coming into, these pied-à-terres that I think everyone thinks are so trendy in our city that I don't find a lot of people go into.
They were trendy for a good amount of time, but the pandemic shifted the trendiness of it. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
They were really good for when people were working from home, because I remember when we were even looking at those small units a few years ago, pre-pandemic again, the conversations were, you're never home.
Yeah.
You go to work, you go out after work, you do this, you're in the city. Why are you gonna be stuck at home?
Yeah.
And there's a shift that happened where people are spending a lot more time at home.
Yeah.
And when they're stuck in really small square footage, it doesn't make them happy.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, if I look at clients and kind of what has become their pied-à-terres, I mean, I'm talking like big. We're talking semi-detached houses. We're talking 1,500 square foot condos. Like, to your point, what I knew a pied-à-terre to be was exactly that. It was a landing pad. It was like a drop your bag, crash, back out the next day. It was not potentially entertaining, potentially this, might need a spare bedroom, so it's really shifting our landscape, I think, of what people have known and what is now kind of this new reality.
And I think that also shifted, and I know we've talked about this in the past, the rental market, the owner market, everything. I'm noticing, and I'm sure you're noticing this too, the smaller units, the smaller properties are harder to move.
Yeah.
Like, they used to be the things that I would list and the next day I'd have an offer.
Yeah.
And it'd be crazy because people are like, I don't want roommates. I want to spend the least amount as possible. I'm never going to be home. Like I'm renting here, or I'm going to buy the smallest place, or this is what I'm going to do. Now I'm noticing people are saying, no. I'm spending more time at home.
Yeah.
Even if I'm just coming into the city for the weekend or for the week or for whatever, I want more space because I'm going to be home.
Yeah. I've definitely seen the trend of I'm going to be home and using my home a lot more. I've also, to your point in the rental segment, seen kind of the shift of people almost going, well, I'd rather get a 2-bed. I'd rather have a larger space, and affordability. The roommate actually makes more sense, or a really good friend actually makes more sense than each of them going and getting a single one, smaller 1-bed unit. And so I think a combination of the, I want the more space because I want to work from home or I want to entertain, or a combination of just affordability because the city's getting really expensive. There's less of that niche in that smaller sector.
So what's actually quite funny is because you mentioned the whole roommate situation and how like there's a market for that. I actually noticed in the luxury space, in the luxury rental space in the downtown core at least, I've had a couple people that are executives of companies that they do have to switch in, that they've opted to like rent out or purchase a larger place that they share.
Right.
So they'll be like, you're in the city 3 days a week, I'm in the city 2 days a week, like we'll split it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't seeing that before.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're not here, it doesn't matter, but we also don't want to be crammed.
Yeah.
So this is the better option for us.
I mean, another trend I've seen kind of similar to that idea of a swap is with a divorced family. I've seen, okay, let's have like one matrimonial, like not matrimonial, excuse me, because they would be divorced, but one family unit home, and then they switch out of it. So the actual home is shared. The time with the children is shared in that residence, but then they've got smaller homes on the outside of that. So a bit to your idea of like, okay, you've got your one main place, but then they've got actually pied-à-terres, like the smaller, 500 square foot unit, and you swap in and out.
But I think that actually works better for them because the kids don't have to like change their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like that's like, you still have your bedrooms, nothing is shifting. The only difference is like,
Mom's there one day, or dad's there, or dad, or mom, or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So I do think that shift in that perspective, like we don't want to sell our home, but we need a second smaller place. Like that's a trend I'm seeing as well.
And again, that touches a bit to affordability in the sense that they're not going out and getting two similarly sized, family homes. You've got the one that in most cases was the family home, and then, you're dividing off into two smaller properties, and it's economically better off, and to your point, keep stability. So there's a lot of really interesting trends that are starting to play out. Work from home, not work from home, executives sharing, marriages, et cetera.
But I think what we can agree on is this: the work from home or the work from the office does shift the real estate market.
Yes.
So depending on what is happening in the media and the news, and your company shifts the type of property that you're looking at, and also shifts the real estate market as a whole.
Yeah.
Because there was a period of time where everyone was remote. And during that period, everyone left the city. I shouldn't say everyone left the city, but a big chunk left the city.
Yeah.
So that caused the outside pricing to go up. And then when they said everyone come back, all of a sudden we saw pressure again in the core.
Yeah.
And now there's a hybrid, and we're seeing pressure again in the bigger property types in the core.
Yeah.
So like there is a correlation with your work environment. Like people, that plays a very heavy role in decision making. And I think that's something that you should pay attention to if you're looking to get into the market, is what is your end goal with that property? Like if you're planning to resell it in a few years, if you're planning to upsize from it, where can you exit from that property based on the trends that we're seeing?
Yep.
So I do think that you need an office space. It could be a nook in the wall, it could be anything, but office spaces at home are doing wonders. And when we're staging now, I'm not sure if you're doing the same thing, we're staging with offices. Yeah. Like people need to see this is where you can put a desk.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or even like a joint, like a room where you're like, okay, do I make this a nursery or an office? We kind of flip flop. 50% of the time we're a nursery, 50% of the time we're an office. And in the case of a room that's a flex room, we try and show it multiple ways. A play, space, because again, there's more of that desire to be home plus office space. It's really incorporating this kind of hybrid life that we're starting, or at least, we are starting to see rolling out with more clients and or more buyers.
Definitely. I think that's all we have for work from home, but work from home does change the real estate dynamic, and that's something to remember. And when you're looking at buying real estate, what you should think about is long-term, not just short-term, which means like how would this house fit in our lifestyle, or how would it translate to our future tenants or the future buyers for this home. Once again, it's Elena Saradidis
and Erica Reddy-Choquette.
Thank you for watching Property Playbook. If you like content like this, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe.